Good afternoon to all. Today's topic is obsessive compulsive disorder. It is a really interesting topic to be studied. So we'll be waiting for another 2 minutes for all the interns to be added. Then we'll start, okay? So I guess we should start with our today's topic. I've already told you that our today's topic is obsessive compulsive disorder. This is the case minute for you all. The client who came to us was female, 34 years old, married. She was a housewife. The informant was she, her own self. The information given was reliable and adequate. Now the complaints she presented to us: repeated hand wash in a day. This was from 11 years. Cleaning the things in her and her husband's room whenever anyone enters the room since 10 years. Taking bath and asking her child and her husband to take bath before sitting on the bed. This was also since 10 years. Thinking about washing hands and bathing all the time. Decreased daily routine activities and decreased sleep. This was since 1 year. The onset of the problem was gradual. Course was continuous. The precipitating factor, she told that the symptoms started after her marriage, as there were some tensions in her marriage. Okay, her marriage was since 14 years. Since 14 years, she was married. There was no such past history. Now comes the family history, that is the genogram. Here, as you can see, I have made the 3 generations. In the family of the client or the patient that has come to us, she had a 35 years old husband who was a businessman, and they had a son who is 12 years old. And the patient herself is symbolized with the darkened circle. Okay. There was no such family history or the family of any psychiatric illness in the family. The pre-morbid personality. What was her personality before the symptoms she was telling? What was her personality before that? The patient was introvert and reserved person. The patient had less social group. She was less socialized. This was the case history. Now comes the mental status examination. The general appearance and the behavior, she was well dressed and kept. Rapport was built properly. The eye contact was proper. Psychomotor activity, it was observed that the patient was sitting with her hands folded inside. No other as such activity or agitation was observed during the interview. Speech, under speech, the tone of the speech was decreased. Tempo was normal, volume was normal. And the reaction time of the patient was normal. Affect, the current mood. As we have already discussed, what is affect?
Pulya, I'm sorry for interrupting in between. There are a couple of people who want to let in. Could you please allow them to enter the chat room?
And the intern side by side.
Yeah, just keep checking the window for the participants by the side so that they can be allowed.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The current mood of the patient was low and sad, as it is already told by the client. The longitudinal mood of the patient was also low. For the longitudinal mood, we can ask that how was your mood since last 1 week? The patient told that it was low. Now, under thought, the content of thought. To know the content of thought, we can ask certain questions. We can ask certain questions related to the presenting complaints she had told to us. Like here, in this case, we have asked certain questions. What is the reason of coming here? And to this, she answered that I am having a problem of washing hands many times a day and also bathing myself whenever I want to sit in my bedroom. Then she was asked that what type of thoughts come to your mind. She replied to that, I continuously keep on thinking that I will get the germs on my hands and whole body whenever I touch anything. So I wash my hands and take a bath. Then it was asked, how many how many times do you think you wash your hands and yourself? She answered, earlier I used to do it 6 to 7 times a day, but now it has increased up to 15 to 20 times in a day, which makes me feel sad. Then she was given a situation that in a situation, if you cannot go and wash your hands, then how will you feel? Then or how will you react? On this, she replied that whenever such situation comes, I get really anxious, which in turn provoke me harder to wash my hands, and I cannot stop myself to get my hands washed. Do you spend much time on washing hands? On this, she replied, presently I wash my hands 15 to 20 minutes a time, which was 5 minutes in initial stage. In the beginning level, she used to wash her hands in 5 minutes, but now it has increased to 15 to 20 minutes. She also said that I take 30 to 40 minutes to take a bath whenever I do. Sometimes she also replied that after washing my hands, when I close the handle of the tap, I again start feeling anxious and again wash my hands as well as I wash the handle of the tap also. Then to know the other thoughts of the client, we asked that do you get any thought of killing people or counting things? She said no, I've never got such thoughts. Or we have asked that do you keep all the objects near you in a symmetry or a symmetrical manner or arranged order? She replied no to that. There were no perceptual abnormalities seen in the patient. Now comes the assessment of the cognition, in which it was seen all the tests under abstract thinking were performed. Like we have already studied the asking the proverbs, similarities and differences, and it was observed that the client had an intact abstract thinking. Next, under cognition comes the orientation. Various questions were asked to assess the orientation, like which time of day is going on, which day and date is today, which month and year is going on, in which city are you living, who is the person accompanying you. So all these questions were asked, and it was interpreted that the patient had an intact orientation of every type of orientation, be it place, or be it person, or be it time. Next comes the attention. To assess the attention, we have conducted the digit repetition test, and after conducting that, we noted that the patient was able to produce 6 digits in a forward manner, and till 4 digits she was able to produce backward digits, which showed that she have a good attention. In concentration, she was asked to perform the serial subtraction test, and it was noted that the patient got confused in the third step of the series, which indicated the impaired concentration of the patient. Here you can see in the third step of the serial subtraction test, she was unable to give the correct answer, and after this step, the answers were getting wrong. So if by chance, in any case you get the answer of one step wrong, but after that the patient starts giving the correct answer, like after subtracting 7, for example, in this example, agar 77 minus 7, if the patient would have said 70, and after that 70 minus 7, the correct she would have given the correct answer. तो हम ये नहीं कहेंगे कि concentration impaired थी, क्योंकि उसमें 7 उसने माइनस करके आंसर ठीक बताया था, वो सिर्फ थर्ड स्टेप पे उसका गलत हुआ था. उसके बाद she was able to produce correct answer by subtracting 7 from the digit. So we would not say that the concentration of the patient was impaired. Next comes the insight. The patient had complete insight of the illness. The judgment was good and intact, as we have asked her certain questions regarding her future plans, and she was also given a situation of the fire, which showed that the patient's judgment was intact. Okay, now this was the case minute for you. Here comes the question. Brainstorm your mind and find the answers to these questions. I request all of you to note down these questions. I'm giving you a minute or two. Manjot, I have added every student, I guess. Okay. Okay, Manjot. Okay. Now, this was the case minute. Now, we will study more in depth about obsessive compulsive disorders. Basically, what is this disorder? These disorders are basically characterized by obsessive thoughts and compulsive disorders. No, Malvika, there is no time limit for the concentration. But yeah, if the patient is taking too much time, we can ask them to respond thoda jaldi, या फिर we can say that the attention and the concentration is impaired as she or he was unable to produce the answers. Yes, Vani, you are correct. I'll just go through it, okay? The OCD, obsessive compulsive disorders, are characterized by obsessive thoughts and compulsive behaviors. Now, what are obsessions? These are recurrent and persistent intrusive thoughts that are unwanted and cause anxiety. ये जो obsessions होते हैं, basically these are the repetitive and continuous thoughts जो कि जो client है वो नहीं चाहता कि मेरे mind में आए, पर due to and these unwanted thoughts cause anxiety. Okay, so obsessions are the repetitive and continuous thoughts which are unwanted by the person but they cause anxiety, and these obsessions may lead to compulsions. Now what are compulsions? These compulsions are overt repetitive behaviors done to reduce anxiety. Now when the obsessions cause anxiety, to reduce the anxiety, the person does various behaviors, repetitive behaviors, continuous behaviors, which are known as compulsions. Obsessions मतलब thoughts जो हमारे mind में regular thoughts आ रहे हैं, पर जो compulsions होते हैं वो behaviors होते हैं जो हमें दिखाई दे. These are the behaviors. Now compulsions can also be divided into overt and covert. Overt माने कि हमें दिख रहा है वो behavior. जैसे for example, the person is continuously सिमेट्री में लगा रहा है अपने पेन्स को या किसी भी चीज को जो उसके सामने पड़ी है, तो वो हो गया ओवर्ट कंपल्शन, वो हमें दिख रहा है. पर जो कोवर्ट कंपल्शन होता है, कोवर्ट मतलब अंदर जो माइंड में चल रहा हो. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कोवर्ट इंपल्शन की एग्जांपल देती हूँ कि माइंड में ही जो पेशेंट है वो माइंड में ही काउंट कर रहा है. फॉर एग्जांपल वी हैड अ पेशेंट, he had covert compulsions. He said that ma'am, जब भी मेरे आगे से व्हीकल निकलते हैं, मैं वो व्हीकल्स के जो टायर्स होते हैं ना, वो कितनी बार रिवॉल्व करते हैं, मैं उनको काउंट करता हूँ, वो भी माइंड में. तो ये हो गया covert compulsion. Okay. Now here comes the DSM criteria for OCD. First criteria to be met for diagnosing the OCD is that either obsessions or compulsions or both should be present. Now this is the definition from DSM-5. You can read this. Obsessions are defined: recurrent and persistent thoughts that are experienced at some time during the disturbance, which are unwanted and that in most individuals cause anxiety or distress. Okay. The second, the individual attempts to ignore or suppress these thoughts or neutralize them with some other thought or action. अब यहाँ पर action आ गया, that means performing a compulsion. Okay. Now here comes the definition of compulsion: repetitive behaviors or mental acts. Mental acts माने covert compulsions that the individuals feels driven to perform in response to an obsession या फिर anxiety को कम करने के लिए. ठीक है. The behaviors or the mental acts are aimed at preventing or reducing anxiety, which I have already told to you. Now, this was criteria A. Second criteria to be diagnosed for OCD is the obsessions or compulsions are time consuming. Since we have seen in the case minute that the patient or the client is taking too much time in washing her hands or taking baths, so these obsessions and compulsions are time consuming and may cause clinically significant distress or impairment in social, occupational or other important areas of functioning. This is very important point. Sometimes we say कि मैं तो जब सोने जाता हूँ तो मैं लॉक प्रॉपर चेक करके जाता हूँ 2-3 बार कि मेरे गेट का लॉक लगा हुआ है तो या नहीं. तो क्या वो कंपल्शन में काउंट होगा? या जब मैं किचन के बाहर जाती हूँ तो फिर मैं जो मेरा गैस स्टोव है उसका रेगुलेटर मैं 2-3 बार चेक करती हूँ कि वो ऑफ है या नहीं, तो क्या ये कंपल्शन में काउंट होगा? नो, because it is not causing the significant distress or any problematic behavior in your social or other important areas of daily routine. But yes, if these compulsions or obsession thoughts or behaviors are giving you stress or any problem in your functioning, then you should see a psychiatrist or the psychologist. See, the obsessive compulsive behaviors are not attributable to any physiological effects of a substance or another medical condition. The disturbance is not better explained by the symptoms of any other mental disorder. Like for example, अगर मैं बच्चों में बात करूं तो there is a repetitive pattern of behavior in autism. तो अगर तो disturbance उसकी वजह से हो रहा है, ASD की वजह से, autism की वजह से, तो हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि वो repetitive behavior है तो वो compulsions हो जाएगा. नहीं. The disturbance which is caused in the patient or the client should not be explained by any other symptom of any other mental disorder. It should be kept in mind. Otherwise, we can make the differential diagnosis. This was the DSM criteria for OCD. Now comes the epidemiology and onset. What is epidemiology? If anyone can answer. No, Malvika, it is not the causes. Ishita has given the correct answer. Epidemiology means basically the prevalence or the incidence कि पूरे population में कितनी जनता जो हमारी है वो OCD से affected है. Analysis of cases. Abhijit, sometimes yes. Most of the times it is yes. They have the insight of their problem or the situation, but in some cases the poor insight is also there in the patients.
Wonderful, Punya. I was going to sort of challenge everybody to think this thing only. So OCD is a very complex disorder, and once you read and reread the definitions, it will keep becoming more clear. The best you will learn is once you see a patient of OCD. Having said that, the first question that always strikes my mind is that sometimes we have patients who have poor insight, like they're not very conscious of their obsessions. So there is a patient I know, and I saw her, and she was brought to me by her husband because she used to cook one thing or chop one thing and then wash everything else, and then again chop another thing and wash, and she used to continue doing that. So for cooking one vegetable, it will take her 1.5 hours, and that was becoming very difficult for the family. Eventually she started having thoughts of not having onion in the house because she started feeling that onion is impure and onion is bad. She used to shun onion and garlic, especially in Navratras or in on the religious days, because she was very religious and very devout. But in the regular days, they generally used to use onion and garlic, but suddenly she started having this thought that I don't want to sort of use onion at all, and she would start crying when she would have to chop onion and wash everything and take a bath as well. When she came to me, her husband had brought her, she kept questioning, why is it wrong that I sort of dislike onion? So it's okay, everybody says that on religious days you should not be eating, it's on regular days also I want to avoid. But the distress and the dysfunction it was causing in her family was just too much, and the repetitive thoughts that were making her take a bath were a part of her problem. But she was just not willing to see it that way. She felt that I am correct and everybody else is wrong. Now, My question to you guys is, how do you differentiate an obsession from a delusion? Both of them are fixed beliefs. Both of them will come repetitively in your mind. Obsessions can also have poor insight, but how will you differentiate them? This is your homework, and it's a tough homework at that. And I'd appreciate if you guys could write differentiating points. I will have things to say about that tomorrow as well. I'm sorry, Punya, for hijacking your presentation. Please take over, and people, please keep asking questions.
Thank you, ma'am. We were discussing the epidemiology and onset of OCD. OCD affects 3% of the population, and it affects both men and women equally. There is no gender differences in OCD. The average onset of OCD is late adolescence or early adulthood in India, but it is more earlier in Western countries. Now is the comorbidity with other disorders. As we have already read what is comorbidity. OCD frequently co-occurs with other anxiety disorders, mostly with social phobia, panic disorder, GAD, that is generalized anxiety disorder, and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. 25 to 50% of people with OCD experience major depression at some time in their lives. This statistics, the value of statistics was taken from the book Abnormal Psychology by Butcher and Mineka. It's a very helpful, useful book for those who have to study for clinical setting, clinical psychology. It's a very good book. You can refer to that. Now comes the common obsessions and compulsions. The commonly seen obsessions and compulsions in the patients are: first is obsession of contamination, obsession of not being safe, sometimes sexual obsession, saving obsessions, obsessions with symmetry. Compulsions, common compulsions are washing, checking, counting, collecting or hoarding, or arranging. And this list goes on and on. Abhijit, the name of the book is Abnormal Psychology by Butcher and Mineka. I'll send, if you've got it, then it's okay. Otherwise, I'll send the name of the book in the WhatsApp group. Now comes the treatment of OCD. First is medications. With medications, either with medications we can treat OCD, and second is psychotherapy. Under psychotherapy, CBT is used, cognitive behavioral therapy, and under CBT we use a particular therapy which is known as exposure and response prevention therapy. Now I'll give you a brief introduction of exposure and response prevention therapy, that is ERP. Yes, Santoshi, very good. ERP, I'm going to explain in brief. What is exposure? What is ERP? Basically, इसमें क्या होता है कि जो anxiety provoking stimulus होता है, जो जिस stimulus से patient में anxiety provoke होती है, उस stimulus को हम, उस stimulus से हम जो patient है उसको बार-बार हम expose करवाते हैं, repeatedly. We repeatedly expose the patient to the stimulus which provokes anxiety in them. ठीक है? Then response prevention. That means we have to refrain from engaging in rituals. We have to refrain the patient अब उस एंजाइटी के बाद जब वो एंजाइटी प्रोवोक होती है उसके बाद वो कोई पर्टिकुलर रिचुअल परफॉर्म करता है, तो उस रिचुअल से हमने उसको रिफ्रेन करना है, हमने उसको मना करना है कि वो ये रिचुअल हम नहीं कर सकते। पहले हमने एक्सपोजर दिया, उसके बाद जो रिस्पॉन्स आता है उस एंजाइटी का उसको प्रिवेंट करना है। वो जो हम प्रिवेंट करते हैं वो हम बहुत डिफरेंट वे से हम कर सकते हैं, जैसे माइंड को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करना। छोटे बच्चों में हम माइंड को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं कि जब भी आपको थॉट आए तो हमने अपना माइंड डिस्ट्रैक्ट कर लेना है, ठीक है। तो दिस इज बेसिक प्रिंसिपल ऑफ ERP। तो इससे क्या होगा, पहले एंजाइटी बहुत ज्यादा होगी, फिर आफ्टर सेशंस द एंजाइटी विल automatically tend to decrease। पहले 100% थी, then we can ask patient जब आपको expose किया आपकी एंजाइटी का कितना लेवल था, कम हुआ, फिर धीरे धीरे ऑटोमेटिकली वो कम होना शुरू हो जाएगा जैसे जैसे एक्सपोज करते रहेंगे। With time, anxiety will dissipate. I hope that you guys are clear about ERP. And I'll be giving you a small homework. आप ERP के बारे में डिटेल में अगर आपको ऑनलाइन कहीं पर मिले तो प्लीज जरूर रीड करना about ERP. Okay, these were the references, DSM-5, and I've already told you abnormal psychology book. And yes, there is a YouTube channel, Osmosis channel. It's a very good channel for the beginners who are the beginners into this field. इसमें सभी disorders की explanation बहुत ही simple and crisp and clear तरीके से दी हुई है, तो you can और जब भी आपको मतलब टाइम मिले तो you can refer to this channel named Osmosis channel. That's it. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience.
So I guess, guys, you have asked all of the questions. Let's not have another meeting today. All of the questions then can be asked in the WhatsApp group only. Punya has definitely answered everything. While we are at it, please make sure you do this homework of delusions versus obsessions. And there is a very good article by Salman Akhtar on the phenomenology of obsessions. If you guys can read that or can get a hold of that, that would be great, because the way he explains obsessions is just pure wonderful. And I do have that some snippets of that article. I'll be sharing them in the meanwhile. For those of you who don't know Salman Akhtar, research about him and you'll be surprised on who he is and what he says, and see a couple of his YouTube videos. I'm sure you'll fall in love with him like most of us are. Right, guys? Happy learning.
There will be no second meeting. Okay, so see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can WhatsApp in the group. And secondly, you will be shared with a list of the project questions you have to give to us for the internship project. So I'll be sharing with you guys on the WhatsApp group a list of project till evening. Okay. Thank you so much. Now I'm ending this meeting.